Attention, parents of DSU volleyball players, communication to report to the southeast corner of the gym. Right in front of the training room, southeast corner of the gym. Thank you. It's Parent Night. At this time, we'd like to meet and recognize the Trojans and their parents who were able to make it tonight. Tori Knowles, daughter of Trevor and Tara Knowles. Samantha Bush, daughter of Tom and Judy Bush. Maddie Polzine, daughter of Scott and Marsha Polzine. Gracie Cleaver, daughter of Shane and Suzanne Cleaver. Rachel Johnson, daughter of Brian and Carla Johnson.
If I could do play-by-play, is this all set up for that or no? Is this set up if I
Rich Pryor, daughter of
matter which
Scott
one?
and Deanna Pryor. Peyton Groft, daughter of James and Nora Groft. Gabby Hurley, daughter of Brett and Stacy Hurley. Barbara Racino, daughter of Luis and Carmen and Luis.
Yeah, so you're live right now.
Dan Leeds, daughter of Dana and Robert Leeds.
Is it my off now?
Tracy Fishback,
I just turned this one down. Is it off?
Jerry and Shauna Fishback. Always Vera, daughter of Nicole. Anna Schwint, daughter of John.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dakota State University Fieldhouse. If you're tuning in live, we thank you very much for doing that. Tonight we have the matchup of the Waldorf Warriors, who are 6-19 overall and 3-9 in the North Star Athletic Association, versus your own Dakota State University Trojans, who are 15-12 on the season and 6-6 in the North Star Athletic Association. So this is a North Star Athletic Association matchup this evening, and we are about to kick off here with the first set. Your starters for this evening for the Trojans are number 5, Samantha Zell, number 22, Kelsey Pearson, number 9, Barbara Brasino, number 15, Always Vila, and number 4, Rachel Johnson. First serve, ace by number 15, Kyra Plotzik, a junior from Ridgeland, Wisconsin. Correction, number 6, Adriana Vetter, a junior. Zell with the hit into the net for a 4 hit on the Trojans, back to the Waldorf Warriors to the serve. Serve deep and out, point for the Trojans. Trojans 1, Waldorf Warriors 2. Brasino back to serve. Samantha Zell with the kill. Brasino again with the serve. A nice save by Plotzik there. Johnson with the set. And he pulls in with a great spike there. And Kelsey Pearson finishes it off there with the kill. Brasino set to serve again. Holzing with the hit just outside. Point for the Waldorf Warriors. Kelsey Cedarquist back to serve for the Warriors. Spike by Pearson, a great dig by Vetter. And point for Trojans there. As number 2, Naomi Larson, is back to serve for the Trojans. Williams with the tip over. And Pearson with the kill. Point for the Trojans. Larson back to serve again. And Larson serves into the net, giving a side out to the Warriors and a point to them as well. Trojans still lead 5-4. And Mansk is back to serve, a freshman from Black River Falls, Wisconsin. Vila with the bump and Pearson with the spike there. Blocked, but blocked out of bounds. So Plotzik gets the kill there. Point for the Warriors. Mansk with the serve again. Brasino to Johnson. And Polzine with the kill. A great bump set spike play there. Rewards the Trojans with a point. Back to serve for the Trojans, Nicole Seringer, a freshman from Pierre. Good tip and save by Polzing there. And Brasino just hits it outside. Point for the Warriors. And Baldwin back to serve, a freshman from Mingo, Iowa. Short serve, fielded well by Vila. And a kill by Anna Schwint, assisted by Seringer. Some substitutions coming to the play as Peyton Groff comes in for the Trojans to serve. Setterquist on the set, and Plotzik with the kill. As Elizabeth Tram goes back to serve for the Warriors. Vila with the nice bump. Seringer with a little close set there, and Spryer gets blocked at the net for point for the Warriors. Tram back to serve again. Short serve again, received by Vila. And Brasino with the kill. And it stays in. Point for the Trojans. Spryer back to serve for the Trojans. Good serve, fielded by Mansk. Spike by Platzik. It's in. Point for the Warriors. Plotzik back to serve after that spike and kill. Seringer to Brasino. Good field by Plotzik. Another good save by Seringer. And Schwint can't make it over the net. 4 hits on the Trojans and point for the Warriors. Warriors lead 10-8. Plotzik back to serve again. And Plotzik with the ace there. Had some sideways rotation on that ball. Vila looked at it and thought it was going to go out of bounds, and it stayed in the confines of the playing field there. And point and ace for Plotzik. Serves up again for Plotzik. Groff with the field there. Seringer with the set. And Schwint with the kill for the Trojans. Trojans get a side out after a 3-point run for the Warriors there. Johnson back to serve for the Trojans. Serves up. Sarah Williams with the kill off of the block by 2 Trojans, but it goes out of bounds. Point for the Waldorf Warriors. Vetter back to serve for Waldorf. Received by Vila. Set by Johnson. And Zell with the kill. Brasino now back to serve for the Trojans. And the kill right down the middle there for number 3, Savannah Cordell, who's a junior from Waltham, Minnesota. And Setterquist back to serve again. Good field by Brasino, good set by Johnson, and a good hit by Polzing. Good save there by Vila. Kelsey Pearson with the spike. Great save by Plotzik. Got our first good rally of the night. And Polzing just hits it out just wide. Point for the Warriors as Setterquist goes back to serve for the Warriors. And Sederquist gets the ace on that, hitting right on the line. And the Trojans will take a timeout here, and we will do so as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the action. As Dakota State just come out of a timeout that they've called, and Sederquist right before that with an ace, and she's back there again to serve for the Warriors. Brasino with the bump, Johnson with the set. Pulsing with the spike, ball's off to the side there. A good diving attempt by Trim, but she deflects it off, and that is a point for the Trojans. As Naomi Larson comes in for the Trojans to serve. Cordell just gets it over the top of the block there for the Trojans. And a point again for the Waldorf Warriors. 16 to 11, correction. 16 to 11 now in this contest. See if the Trojans can make a little run here. Mance back to serve. Pulls in with a roll shot there. Cordell with the hit over. Set up to Kelsey Pearson. Plotzik does a cut shot, but gets it a little wide there. Point for the Trojans. As Seringer comes in for the Trojans along with Schwint. Seringer back to serve. Plotzik with the tip over the top. Pulsing with the tip as well. Plotzik with a hit. Seringer to Pulsing. She puts it down, and it's in those side lines. Point for Trojans, 2 points in a row. Let's see if we can keep it going here. Seringer back to serve again. Set by Tram, spike by Cordell with the really hard swing there. Deflection off of our blockers and out of bounds. Point for the Waldorf Warriors as they lead 17 to 13 here in the first set. Baldwin with the serve. Really tight set. Not really sure who is going to. But Anna Schwint on the return hit. And one of the Warriors players were in the net there, so the Trojans will get the ball back on the side out and a point. And Peyton Groft in to serve for the Trojans. Tram sets to Stolp there, and she hits it just outside the line. Trojans with a point, and Groff back to serve again. Sets the Plotzik out there. She gets a good hit on it. Vila's there to field it. Schwint with a good hit. And Plotzik with a great save to keep the play going. Spryer with the kill. Saved by Vetter. Brasino with the tip. A great diving save by Mansk. And Vetter hits it over. Schwint with a nice tip play. But Vetter again right there Spryer with the tip. Back to Plotzik. Trojans with the tip there, and Spryer with the hit. Fielded well by the Warriors. Dump here. Brasino hit immediately over. Plotzik, strong hit, and hits right on the line. Right on the line. A great rally there and ended in a not so fortunate way for the Trojans as Plotzik was able to hit it right on the line. Warriors with a point here and Tram back to serve. Groff with the field there. Seringer on the set. Brasino tight. And with the left arm. But she doesn't get the kill. But we do get the point because the Warrior was in the net on that spike. Spryer back to serve now for the Trojans. And into the net. Point for the Waldorf Warriors and a change of side out here. Plotzik is back to serve there after she just got done tying her shoe. And the serve's up. Plotzik with a great topspin on that ball, dropping right over the net and right in front of the back row defenders. And your Trojans take another timeout. Current score is 20-16, and we will step away for a few seconds as well. All right, and we are back here at the DSU Trojan Field House, and Plotzik is back to serve after a prior ace. Ooh, a great save by Seringer there. Brasino with the tip shot, but Vetter is there to grab it. Plotzik with the hit in the back row. And Sammy Zell with the spike block, but we got her right back. Brasino with the spike. Fielded by Tram and Vetter with the setup. Plotzik with the shot there. Sammy Zell with the tip shot. Fielded by Plotzik. And then hit into the net by Muriel Levy. And the Trojans receive a point there. We've been having some good rallies in this first set. We hope that continues, but hope that it goes in favor of the Trojans, of course. Rachel Johnson back to serve for the Trojans. Serves it over. Plotzik there to receive it. Tram with the set. Levy with the spike. Random hitting off of the irons at the top of the ceiling there, and the ball drops on the Waldorf side. Trojans with a 2-0 run here. See if we can get closer with one more. 18-20 in this first set. Johnson with the serve. Fielded by Vetter. Tram with the set. Williams with the hit, but fielded by Vila. And spiked by Sammy Zell. Vila with a great diving save, and Groff putting it over the net. Williams with the spike again, but fielded by Vila. Set tight there. Racino's able to get it close, and Sammy put it over. Plotzik with the hit, and it's just outside. Trojans get the point there. Trojans with a 3-0 run, and Waldorf takes a timeout here. The score 19-20, and we'll take a break. And we are back out on the floor. The Trojans with a 3-0 run here. Johnson to serve. Score 19-20 in this first set. Johnson with the serve. Fielded by Vetter. Set by Tram. Williams with the spike. And Pearson was in the net there, so it didn't matter where the ball landed. Waldorf with the side out and the point. Trojans looking for a quick turnaround and a side out. And Vetter back to serve here. Shows up, drops short. McGraw fielded it. Brasino with the hit. Vetter to Tram. To Plotzik from the back row. Vila with the great dig. Brasino with the hit. Vetter again with the great dig. Tram just hits the ball over. Free ball for the Trojans. Good set by Johnson with it being tight to the net there. And that's outside of the antenna on that far side. And so the Trojans get the point and get the side out here. Matty Polzine comes in along with Brasino back to serve. Brasino with the serve, fielded by Plotzik. Tram with the set. Williams with the kill. And just outside. That's a point for the Trojans. And now we are tied up 21-21. If I believe right, the score has not been tied since 3-3, so the Trojans come back from a 7-down deficit and tie it up. Plotzik with the roll shot right over the net. Johnson to Pearson with the kill. Deflected out of bounds by Williams. And the Trojans take their first lead of this game. And with that, Waldorf takes a timeout. And we'll be back to you in a few seconds here at the DSU Fieldhouse. And your Trojans are out there ready to roll already, waiting for the Warriors to come out from the timeout. Trojans want to keep their hot streak going here and continue rolling. Brasino back to serve for the Trojans. Fielded by Plotzik, really tight. Tram with the great save there and Vetter over. Brasino with the dig. Johnson with the spike. And Zell with a big push there. Vila with the return. And Polzing with the spike. Assisted by Johnson. Trojans take a 2-point lead here and keep this streak rolling. Brasino back to serve again. Really low, a lot of topspin, and it goes down for an ace. Vetter couldn't handle that, didn't see the topspin, and it hit the ground. So now Brasino to serve for game point. Plotzik to Tram to Cordell. And Cordell gets the kill on that one. And for the Warriors, Kelsey Cedarquist back to serve. 1 point here for the Trojans, and we take this first set. Brasino to Johnson to Zell, and she just strikes it straight down into the ground. The first game goes to your Dakota State University Trojans. We will take a little break here between the two sets and come back in 3 minutes. All right, if you are just tuning in, the Trojans just took set 1 from the Warriors. They went on a great run at the end there. We're down by 7 at one point, came back and won 25-22 off of a Samantha Zell kill right into the ground in front of the Waldorf Warriors. So we're starting off this second set here with Johnson back to serve, along with Groff, Vila, Brasino, Pearson, and I can't make out who the other player is at this moment. Samantha Zell, I believe. Johnson with the spike. A missed bump by the Warriors. Ends up with the ball landing on their side. Point for the Trojans. Johnson back to serve again. Johnson with the serve up, fielded by Plotzik. Tram with the set. Williams with the spike, fielded by Vila. Johnson to Brasino, tipped but out of bounds. And the Trojans score a point there on the kill by Brasino. Rachel Johnson back to serve again for the Trojans. 2-0 Trojans. Johnson serves up, serves short. Williams fields it well though. Tram with the dump. Brasino with a hit immediately over. Tram with the back set. Williams with the spike, but tipped. Groft. Spike by Zell. Vetter with the set to Williams. Groft again with another great dig. Johnson to Kelsey Pearson, blocked. And then Johnson tries to dump it over and just clips the top of the net. Throws it back on the Trojan side and lands on the ground. Waldorf with the point there. Vetter back to serve for the Warriors. And Vetter serves it into the net. Giving the ball back to the Trojan. Another point to the Trojans as well. Polzine checks in for the Trojans, along with Brasino. Back to serve. Brasino with the great serve. Plotzik with the back row attack. And Zell tries to tip her over into the open area and hits it into net. So point there goes to the Warriors, with Setterquest coming in to serve for them. Setterquest with the serve, received by Brasino, set by Johnson to Zell, tipped by Williams, saved by Vetter, saved by Williams, and then just hit short. And lands on the Warriors side and gives a point to the Trojans. And now in to serve for the Trojans is Larson. Larson with the serve, fielded by Setterquest. Tram with the set, really tight. Williams tries to save it, but ends up hitting the antenna in the process. And that is out of bounds. So point goes to the Trojans. Larson back to serve again. Larson with the serve, Setterquest again to Tram. To Cordell. Johnson with the set to Pearson. Tipped off of Cordell there, and point for the Trojans. Timeout. Waldorf, as the Trojans take a 6-2 lead, and we will take a break as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Trojan Fieldhouse on the campus of Dakota State University, as Trojans are taking on the Waldorf Warriors in the second set in this volleyball contest. Naomi Larson with the serve. Vetter with the return. Williams with the spike there, fielded by Larson. Polzing with the kill. Looked like it hit the ground, but will play on. Polzing again with the hit, blocked. Larson there to save it. Spryer with the hit over the net. Now Williams with the hit over the net, and it's blocked by a combination of Pearson and Spryer, and it falls on the Waldorf side. Point for the Trojans. Larson back to serve again. Larson serves Vetter with the bump. The dump there. Johnson with the great dig. Pearson with the hit, but it's a bit deep there. And the Warriors will get the point. Coming in for the Warriors is Mansk, and then coming in for the Trojans is Vila. Mansk with the serve. Returned by Vila. Johnson with the set to the back row to Brasino, and she cannot get it over the net, so the point goes to the Waldorf Warriors. And the score is 7-4. Trojans need to side out here quickly to stop this run. Mansk with the serve. Brasino. Johnson to Polzing, hits right on the line. Right on the line. Probably couldn't have been any more closer than that. And she gets a kill. Polzing with 5 now in these 2 games. Seringer back to serve. Turned by Sederquist. Tram to Williams. And they made it look easy, right to the ground. Had our defense jumping early. Couldn't get the block established, and Williams with the kill shot. Baldwin in for the Warriors to serve. Brasino with the serve receive. Seringer to Swint, and she knocks it straight down into the ground. That is her specialty right there, the wraparound kill. Jumping off of 1 foot, slamming it into the ground. Defenders cannot seem to return that ball. Kill for Schwint, and Groff comes in to serve for the Trojans. Groff with a short serve. Tram to Plast. With a great save by the Warriors. And Schwinn with the tip, but just tips it outside the line there. The Warriors with the point. And Levy comes into the game. Back to serve for the Warriors is Tram. Vila with the return, a little tight. Seringer saves it though, and Brasino puts it right on the line. Coach from Waldorf doesn't look pleased on that call, but the line judge called it in, and Trojans will get the point there. Spryer back to serve. Great serve there. Tram with a diving save. And Plotzik with the hit over. Another diving save by Mansk. And Plotzik with the hit, but it's tipped by the Trojans. Ends up out of bounds. Warriors with the point. And Plotzik with another kill. Her total is 5 for these 2 games. Plotzik now back to serve as well. Plotzik with that serve that has that downward rotation. This time catches the net, goes into it, and results in a point for the Trojans. Johnson comes in the game, and so does Zell for the Trojans, and Johnson's back to serve. Serves up. Johnson serves to William, a little tight there to Tram. Right back to Williams. And Vila has a great dig. Brasino with the tip down. Stolp just hits it over. Vila to set, Brasino again. She just rolls it over. Williams with the dig. Tram to Plotzik, and Plotzik hits it just outside there. No tip, no touch. Trojans point. Johnson back to serve. Looks like we got the floor got a little wet from the save there that Williams had. Get that cleaned up, and we're back and rolling here. Johnson back to serve for the Trojans. Serves a low. Plotzik receives it well. Does a roll shot, tip shot, and it does hit the ground. Johnson attempting to dive to save that. All she could do was dive and hit off the end of her hands, went right into the net and hit on the ground on the Trojan side. Point for the Warriors and Vetter to serve here. Groff with the serve receive. Johnson to Brasino. Tram to Williams with a deep tip. Johnson set to Zell. Zell gets a good hit. Waldorf playing between the irons above the ceiling. And then they hit it long past the boundary line there. Point for the Trojans, and Polzin comes back in for the Trojans. And Brasino is back to serve. Brasino with a good serve there. Tram to Williams. Great received by Vila. And then a back set by Polzin, and Pearson hits it into two Waldorf Warrior hands just waiting there above the net, and no one was ready to cover that spike. Waldorf with the point, and Sederquist back in to serve. Brasino, Johnson to Polzin. Polzin hit it off the defender, tipped out of the boundary, and point for the Trojans. Larson comes in for the Trojans to serve. Larson serves received by Sederquist. Tram really tight to Williams. Both Trojans looking at each other like who's going to go for it and let the ball drop between both of them. And with that, Waldorf gets the point. Mans comes in for the Warriors, and Vila comes in for the Trojans. Vila with serve receive. Johnson to Spryer. Spryer, strong hit there. And no one on Waldorf wanted to receive that hit. Get that second hit from a great dig. And results in the ball landing on the ground. The Trojans get a point there. Saringer in to serve. Sederquist really tight. Ball goes over, and Trojans set it over as well. And then Plotzik with the kill. Baldwin comes in for the Warriors to serve. Serves up to Vila. Saringer with the set. To Spryer tight. The ball gets down on the ground. It looked like Baldwin had her hand under, but the officials say no, it is on the ground, and point for the Trojans. Peyton Groff comes back in to serve for the Trojans here. And that hits right on the line. And Groff with the ace, putting the Trojans up 17-11 in this second game here at the Dakota State University Fieldhouse. Groff again now changing up with a short serve. Sederquist had to dive to get that one. It goes over the net, and Brasino kills it on Waldorf's side. Trojans up 18-11, and Waldorf takes a timeout to hopefully stop the momentum. We'll take a quick break here. Again, for those of you turning in, We welcome you back to the Dakota State University Fieldhouse after Waldorf just took a timeout there after a Brasino kill, and Groff back to serve for the Trojans. Setterquist with the return. Plotzik with the spike, but fielded by Vila, set by Groff, and Brasino kills. Gets a spike, tipped off a Setterquist, and landed on the ground for a Trojan point. Trojans making a run and not looking back here. Groff again to serve. Mansk to Plotzik with the spike, and she hits it just outside the line. Couldn't have been closer over there. Right off the edge of the line. Point for the Trojans. Groff to serve. Mansk set, Tram. Fielded by Seringer, and Brasino gets the nice roll over the net. It hit. It stopped on top, rolled over, and landed on the Waldorf side. Kill by Brasino. Point for the Trojans, and Groff still continues to serve. Hits a Mansk. Mansk hits the deck. Plotzik with the spike. Vila with the return. Spryer with the spike. Trim with the set. Vetter hits it. Seringer to set to Swint. And again, that wraparound shot for Swint. The Warriors cannot figure that one out tonight. Point for the Trojans, 22-11. We've doubled the score now on the Warriors. Groff to serve. Mansk with a miss hit there. Plotzik with the pushover. Brasino with the big swing. But the big swing was blocked and then immediately tipped out of the boundary by the Trojans, which results in a point for the Waldorf Warriors. Tram back to serve for the Waldorf Warriors. Vila with the return. Seringer to Spryer, tight, but she pushes it over. Vetter with a diving save, almost got to it, but couldn't in time. So Spryer gets the kill on that one. Trojans up 23-12, 2 points to go for your Trojans. Spryer with the serve. Tram to Levy with just the push over the net. Brasino with the cut shot. Great save by Plotzik there, and she gets to spike it now, but it goes wide. And the Trojans with the point. Game point in this second game here at Trojan Fieldhouse. Spryer with the short set spike serve there, excuse me. Zell with the kill, almost similar to the end of the last game, but they return it, and Brasino puts it down for the kill to make it 25-12, and that is game number 2 taken by the Trojans. Currently on the board for kills, we have Zell with 5, Spryer with 3, Brasino with 8, Schwint with 5. And along with that, Peyton Groff has 1 ace, as well as Brasino has an ace as well. We'll take a 5-minute break here as we're between sets 2 and 3, and we will be back in 5 minutes. All right, and we are back here at the Dakota State University Fieldhouse on the campus of Dakota State University. And tonight is Parents' Night here at the volleyball game. And we thank all the parents that are in attendance, but we also want to reach out to the parents that could not make it this evening, and those of you that are tuning in, and say thank you for your support of Trojan athletics. The Trojans took the first set 25-22 after being down by 7 points later in that first game, and then made the second set look easy, 25-12. And now we start third. Vetter with the serve. Johnson to Zell, and she puts it down on that wraparound spike. Trojans with the point. Brasino back to serve, and Polzin comes in for the Trojans. Brasino to serve. Plotzik. Tram to Williams, but Vila with the great save there. Plotzik back row hit. And that one goes over Vila's hands, but we got a call of in the net. By the Trojans, so that's a point for the Warriors. Sitterquist back to serve for the Warriors. Serves up Vila to Johnson. Johnson to Polzin, and she hits it down, but we get another person in the net. This time it is on the Warriors. And Trojans get the point. Zell goes out. Larson comes in to serve. Vetter to Tram to Williams. Williams with a push shot there. Has to be fielded by Johnson. So Brasino to set. Pearson hits it just a bit outside there. And a point goes back to the Warriors. And we're all knotted up at 2. Manskin for the Warriors back to serve. Brasino with the serve receive. Johnson to Spryer. She tries to touch it over lightly and doesn't get enough of it. Into the net. Point for the Warriors. Pass to Brasino. Johnson to Polzin with the pull on that kill. Point for the Trojans. Seringer in to serve for the Trojans. Tram to Williams, but it looks like Williams hit it right into the net. And lands on the Warriors' side. Point for the Trojans. 2-point swing here for the Trojans. Seringer back to serve again. Hits it short to Mansk. And then Plotzik tries to get a cut shot there. And doesn't get enough on it. Hits the net. Point again for the Trojans. Seringer to serve again. This time to Vetter. Tram to Plotzik. She has a hit. Fielded by Vila. Polzin with a spike. Fielded by Vetter. And then Williams just tips it over where no one's at for the Trojans. Trojans not prepared for that tip. Point goes to the Warriors. And Baldwin in to serve for the Warriors. A little confusion there between Vila and Brasino. Polzin with the tip, but blocked. Then Spryer with the spike, blocked. Hit it over. Tram does a dump shot there. Fielded by Vila. Spryer saves it and keeping going here. Tram to Plotzik. Plotzik with the spike, but Vila there. Polzin with the spike, and it drops in there after being tipped. Some great digs by Vila on that play. And Polzin gets the kill. Throws the defenders on the ball, got tipped and lands right in front of them. Groft in to serve for the Trojans. Sitterquist with the return. To Tram to Plotzik. Seringer with a great save there. Brasino to Spryer. Plotzik with the roll shot. And Brasino could just not get there in time. Drops right in front of her. Point for the Warriors. Now Tram back to serve for the Warriors. Vila to Seringer, Seringer to Brasino. Brasino with the cut shot, great cut shot out of the reach of the defensive specialist Vetter. Trojans with the point there. Spryer in to serve. And Zell comes into the game for the Trojans. Plotzik with the back row hit. Groft to Seringer. Seringer to Schwint. Little tight there, but managed to get it back. Seringer to Zell. Vetter with the great save. Tram to Plotzik. Blocked, but comes onto the side of the Trojans. And Zell can't save it before it ends up on the ground. Point for the Warriors. The Trojans lead 7-6 at this moment. And Plotzik back to serve. Plotzik with the serve. Vila with the return. Seringer to Schwint. Schwint pushes it deep, and it is touched. It was touched. We didn't get a signal by the official, but it was touched on the play. And Trojans with the point there. Johnson comes in, and so does Pearson. Johnson back to serve. Johnson to Vetter. Vetter to Plotzik. Johnson to Pearson. She doesn't ready for that. Tram. Tram to Williams for the spike. Excuse me for all those times I called Cordell Williams. Williams, number 9, is a freshman from California with this kill there. Johnson to Zell, and Zell gets a smack on that one. You could hear that all the way up here, even with these headphones on. Puts it down, deflection off, kill for Sammy Zell. And that's 7 kills on her total for the games up to this point. Brasino back to serve. Tram to Plotzik. Plotzik with the roll shot. Vila with the great dig. Polzing gets a good hit on that. And it's blocked, but it just lands right inside the boundary. And a point for the Warriors. Sederquist comes in for the Warriors to serve. Polzing kind of gets a shank on that return. It wasn't so far off, but it looked a lot worse since Johnson had to run all the way across the floor on that one to get to it. Sederquist back to serve now after the Warriors get a point. Johnson to Polzing right down the middle. No one wants to touch that one. Polzing with the kill, and that puts her total up to 10 for the evening. And Larson comes back in to serve for the Trojans. Tight. Spryer with the tip. But it's back over to the Trojan side. Back to Spryer. Hit off the chest of Plotzik, and no one could get to it after that. Point for the Trojans there. Back to serve again for the Trojans is Larson. Vetter to Tram. Tram tips it deep, but Brasino is there to make the play. Johnson to Spryer. She tips it. Tram with the dig. And Williams would have gotten the spike there, but Spryer appeared to be in the net before that happened. Point for the Warriors. Mance comes back into the game for the Warriors, along with Vila for the Trojans. Johnson to Polzing. Polzing with the roll shot. Tram has to field it, so they'll have to set it a different way. Tram with a spike. Fielded by the Trojans. Spike by Pearson is received by them. Polzing with the spike. Blocked back. Johnson tried to stick an arm out to get it and could not. And Waldorf with a 2-0 run right now. Trojans need a side out to stop the run. Mansk with the serve. Brasino to Johnson. Johnson to Spryer. Quick. Just over the head of her and too quick for Polzin. Point for the Warriors. Mansk again back to serve. Just outside there. Close, but just missed it. That's what the Trojans needed to stop the run there. And Seringer and Schwink come back in for the Trojans. Seringer back to serve. Sitterquist, Tram out to Plotzik. And the ball hit the antenna again, which is out. And so the Trojans get the point there. Trojans take the lead back with a 2-0 run of their own. Seringer serves it short. Fielded by Sitterquist. To Cordell on the kill, but blocked by Spryer. Trojans with a 2-point lead, 14-12. And Waldorf needs to talk about it. We will take a minute break here and be right back. And we're back, and this is again the third game here in the Dakota State University Fieldhouse. Seringer back to serve. This is their third serve of this set in a row. Tram out to Plotzik. Plotzik with the cut shot. Vila with the great save there. Spriter tries to cut it a little bit there and hits it into the net. Point for the Warriors. And Baldwin comes in to serve for the Warriors. Brasino to Seringer, a little tight there, and so Vila is just going to hit it over and bump it, but she puts it out wide. And with that, Waldorf has tied the game back up, 14-all. Baldwin back to serve again for the Warriors. Brasino to Seringer, a little tight, but Seringer stepped under the net, and that results in a point for the Warriors. Baldwin with the great serves here, getting a little run for the Warriors. Brasino to Seringer, Seringer to Maddie Polzin right in the middle, and she clubs it down. Mansk was there, but just could not get it to go back up in the air. Instead, it just went straight back into the ground. Polzin with, I believe, 11 kills on the evening. Groff came in for her. Groff to serve. Mansk to Tram. To Stolp. Correction, Williams, sorry. Nope, that was Stolp. And then Brasino with the left-hand kill for the Trojans. Groff back to serve for the Trojans again. Mansk with the return. Tram to Plotzik. Cut shot. Vila's way was going right. Had to go back left and just could not get there in time. Got a hand on it but could not get it up in the air to resume play. Point for the Warriors, and Tram back to serve for them as well. Vila with the return. Seringer to Brasino. Brasino hits it down and hits right on the line, but it doesn't matter because one of the Warriors players was in the net. Spryer back to serve for the Trojans after they received the point there. And then Spryer hits it long, returning the favor for the Warriors. William returns to the game for the Warriors, and Plotzik back to serve. Groff to Seringer to Schwint. She does a tip. Everybody looks at each other like who's going to go after it on the Waldorf side, and none of them go for it. She gets a kill with the drop shot in there. And then she goes right back out. Johnson comes in along with Pearson for the Trojans. Johnson back to serve. Johnson serves the Vetter. Tram up to Williams. And that's just outside. Just a bit outside. And the Trojans get the point there, increasing their lead to 2 again. Johnson back to serve. Vetter to Tram. Tram out to Williams. Williams puts it down. But the Trojans are in the net on that one, so it didn't matter the result of the block. Point for Waldorf, 19-18. Trojans hanging on to the lead here. Vetter with the serve. Vila to Johnson. Johnson to Zell. Zell with the cut shot, but just outside. Giving that point to the Warriors. And now we're all knotted up again at 19-19. Vetter back to serve for the second time. Vila with the up. Johnson to Brasino. No one's ready, but she hits it just long. And the Warriors take a late lead here in the third game. Vetter back to serve again. Serves it. Vila serves it tight. Johnson tried to field it off with the net. Took a weird bounce. And ends up with Pearson just missing it by going over the net. And with that, the Trojans take a timeout, down by 2, 19-21 in this third game in this match. We will take a break here. And as we hear the Sweet Caroline song in the background, the Dakota State University Trojans volleyball team continues this home game here in the third game, down 2. And Vetter continues to serve here for the Warriors. She's been making this run look easy for them. Vila to Johnson, Johnson to Brasino. Brasino with the kill off of the deflection of the Warrior blockers there. And Brasino with another kill. That puts hers up to 12. And now she's back to serve for the Trojans. Plotzik to Tram. Tram to back row to Plotzik again. Gets a tip. Trojans were not ready for that tip. Making a diving effort for it, but cannot get it back up and playable. Setterquist checks in for the Waldorf Warriors and is back there to serve. Setterquist serves it to Polzing. Polzing kind of hits a line drive. Johnson tries to reach out to keep it going and cannot do that. And the Warriors now at 23-20 and Trojans take a timeout. We will be back in about a minute. And we are back here at the Trojan Fieldhouse. And as we hear the song, Call Me Maybe, you can call the Dakota State University Fieldhouse at 605-256-5229 to reserve your reserve seating for upcoming sporting events such as basketball, women's and men's. And we are back here. Williams with the spike there and is tipped by the Trojans, but goes out of bounds. And Waldorf 1 point away from taking the game from the Trojans and forcing a game 4 here. Sederquist with a low liner serve, hits the net and just goes out. Trojans get a point after a long drought there, and Larson comes in to serve for the Trojans. Better off shot there. Plotzik with a spike. Johnson to Spryer, correction. Hits it into a blocker, still lands inbounds. She gets a kill. And she's had a quiet night tonight. She's had 5 kills for the evening. Larson again with the serve. Vetter to Tram. Tram back again to Plotzik, almost identical to the last one. And then Johnson to Spryer again identical, and she gets another kill. As Trojans close the gap and get within 1 now. And the Trojans need 1 more to force this to go past 25 points in this game. Waldorf takes the timeout, and we'll be back in about a minute. And we are back here in the Dakota State University Fieldhouse. And the Trojans are making a little run here. Larson with the serve. Let's see if we can get 1 more point. Tram to Williams. And Williams just grazes Brasino on that spike. And the ball deflects off of her. And Waldorf gets the point to end the game. 25-23. They take that one from the Trojans and force a game 4 here. We'll be back in 3 minutes for game number 4. Welcome back to the Dakota State University Field House as the Trojans take on the Waldorf Warriors in this volleyball North Star Athletic Association Conference matchup. Waldorf takes game 3 there. And so Trojans still lead 2-1. And we're starting here with a serve by Johnson. Vetter returns it over the net and Brasino puts it down for the first point of this 4th game and her 13th kill of the evening. Vetter Trim has to dive for that one, and Williams just pushes it over on the bump to Brasino. Blocked. Vila picks it up, and Sammy Zell spikes it. Tram out to Williams again, and she puts it down. She has got a cannon on her for a freshman. Williams, a freshman from Poway, California, has a cannon on her. 1-1, Vetter to serve. Groff to Johnson, Johnson to Brasino. She pushes it deep. Again, the coach from Waldorf not liking that call, thinking it is out. For Brasino to serve after the Trojans get the point. Tram called for a 2 hit on that, or a lift. I didn't see the signal, but the Trojans get the point on that one. Brasino serves, hits it a little lower than the last few and hits it right into the net. Point goes to the Warriors there. And Setterquist checks in for the Waldorf Warriors to serve. Setterquist serves it to Polzin. Little off, but then Polzin gets a spike there. Tram to Cordell. Cordell hits it. Blocked, and then she hits it over again. Polzin with the spike, fielded by Vetter. Then Williams with a spike, but it is blocked by Zell and Pearson combo. And back onto the side of the Warriors in the boundary for a point for the Trojans. With that, Larson checks in to serve for the Trojans. Serve to Plotzik. Tram up to Williams again. She hits it. Blocked again, and then Kelsey Pearson puts it down. Hit off of 2 Waldorf players, Setterquist and Cordell, but they cannot continue the rally there. And point for Trojans. Larson again to serve. Vetter to Tram, really tight. Blocked by Polzin, they hit it back over, and she spikes it right back in their face again. And the Trojans up 6-2 again for the 2nd time in this contest. And Waldorf with the timeout there. And we will take a break, be back in a minute. And we are back and rolling here. Larson with the serve to start this next point. Tram to Williams. Good swing on it, but there's a block there. Sets it to Williams again. And she tries to hit it a little off balance. And 22, Pearson blocks it. On to Waldorf's side. A little conversation happening there between the officials. Point still for the Trojan, and Larson serves again. Tram with the dump. Spryer with the great dig there. Spike by Polzin. Vetter reaches that, and Williams gets the spike on it. Brasino with the up. Pearson with the spike on it. Sederquist hits off her hand, doesn't hit it square, goes outside the boundary, and point for the Trojans. Larson again to serve. Serve to Vetter. Vetter's just been having a tough time this evening getting the set to where they want it for the Warriors. Another point for the Trojans there. Larson serves to Vetter again, this time a good set, then a dump by Tram. Set to Pearson, she gets a good swing on it, hits the top of the net, little confusion there. But now Cordell with the pushover. Johnson out to Polzing, Polzing puts it down and right on the line. And right on the line. The Waldorf bench thought it was out of bounds. Thought it was out of bounds. But it was not. It was right on the line as called by the line judge. And the Trojans lead 10-2 now. We'll be back in a minute after that Waldorf timeout. And we are back here at the Dakota State University Fieldhouse, and Larson is still serving for the Trojans. Serves up, Vetter to Tram. Tram sets it to Cordell. Cordell, no one's there to block it. Brasino tries to field that to get a return and cannot. And point for the Warriors. Warriors stop the run that the Trojans had there. Now Mance back to serve for the Warriors. Brasino with the receive. Johnson Polzing right down the middle. Spikes it right, hits Vetter right in the shoulder. Deflects off her, and Polzing with the kill. 14th kill for Polzing on the evening. Seringer and Schwint come into the game for the Trojans. Seringer to serve. Seringer hits the top of the net on the serve. And then Plotzik blocked by Spryer. Plotzik again with the hit, pushes it over. Vila, Seringer to Polzing. Polzing a little tight, decides to push it. And Plotzik again pushes it over. Seringer to Spryer. Spryer right down the middle with the kill. Nobody in that area. All of them took off from the middle. Spryer saw that one right down the middle. Got the kill. Seringer back to serve again. Seringer serves it short, hits the net, and Waldorf gets the point there. Baldwin back to serve for the Warriors. Brasino to Seringer. Seringer up to Spryer. A double attack there. Polzing lets it go by. Spryer comes off the backside there, kills it, and now she's gaining some traction on her kills. She's up to 8 on the evening. She was just at 5 past 4, and now she's gotten 3 in this game alone. Groff with the serve. Tram gets a little tight here, and because it's so tight, she hit the net with her hands there. The coach pleading and begging on that one, hoping that it wasn't and she didn't touch it, but she did touch it. And so the Trojans get the point there. We've seen a lot of in the net calls today. Groff with the serve, very short. Tram serves it to Plotzik. Plotzik with the push there. Brasino to receive it. Then Seringer gives it back to her, but then a dig by Vetter. Plotzik with the spike, received by Brasino. Brasino again gets the spike attempt, but she tips it instead, drops it right at the 10-foot line, and gets a point for your Trojans. Trojans lead 15-4 in this game. Groff back to serve again. Tram tips it deep. No one there. Great spot for Tram to place that. And point for the Warriors. Tram, a junior out of White Bear Lake, Minnesota. Has some experience as the setter at Waldorf. Seringer to Spryer. Spryer hits it to Tram. She can't set, so Veteran needs to set it up. Plotzik with the spike. Received by Groff. Now Spryer with the spike. Ends in a kill. Assisted by Seringer. Mance couldn't get it to anybody to field it for a set on kill. Trojans with a point there. Spryer with the serve. Tram a little tight, but Stolp somehow gets it into the hands of the Trojan blockers and down in front of them on their side of the net. So the Warriors get a point back there. Plotzik back to serve for the Warriors. Plotzik with that downward motion on that serve, making it tough to receive. Sammy's out with the spike over, but returned easily. Williams with the kill, or spike, excuse me. Schwint with a spike. Tram to Williams again. Williams to Zell. She does a cut shot. Great dig there, and back to Williams again. And the ball is tipped over the official's head, out of the reach of Seringer. And point for Waldorf. Plotzik on the serve to Brasino. Seringer to Schwint. Tram to Levy. Levy with the cut shot, tipped by the Trojans at the net there. Drops it a little shorter than anticipated and ends up landing in front of two Trojans. Waldorf getting some momentum in this last few points here. Plotzik to serve again. And Plotzik just has that great downward rotation on that serve. And sometimes it drops right over the net, sometimes it carries a little farther. Hard to predict that serve. Trojans take a timeout now with a little run by the Waldorf Warriors to try to stop that momentum. And we'll be back here in a minute. And we're back here at the Trojan Fieldhouse. Plotzik back to serve. The Waldorf Warriors on a little run here. Hoping to get a side out here. Groff with the good up to Seringer. Seringer set to Brasino. Point for the Trojans. The Trojans had a little trickery there. We had Zell going up for a spike. The ball goes over her head to Brasino. Brasino puts it down with very little blockers in her way. Easy point for the Trojans there. And Rachel Johnson comes in to serve along with Pearson. Better to Tram. Tram out to Williams again. She gets a hit. Hits it just outside the line there. A great cut shot. Vila at the last second knew it was too high for it to be in. Pulls her hands back and lets it go out of bounds. Point for the Trojan there. Johnson back to serve again. Plotzik, Tram back to Plotzik. A good back row hit there. Vila with this bump set. It was blocked. The ball lands on the playing side of the Trojans. A little confusion there. Brasino hit it. It was blocked. The Trojans coach Amy Wienhoff thinks that it hit the antenna or something of that nature, which would make it be out of bounds. but there was no signal by the line judge that it did so. And so now what we are going to get is we are going to get a replay of that point. The officials have that tool in their tool belt if they were unsure of the play. If there is any dispute about that play, they can call a replay on that, and that is what they choose to do on that play. Now Brasino comes over as the captain to talk to the up official to figure out what the reasoning was for that replay. And I think the Trojans lucked out on that. We didn't get a call from the line judge, but we got the replay. So that's a positive for us. Keep the momentum on our side, and Johnson back to serve again. 18-9 still the score. Tram sets it up to Williams. Williams hits it, but she hits it into the net. Lets the ball get a little low on that spike attempt and hits it into the net. Point for the Trojans, and Johnson back to serve. Johnson serves Vetter, and Tram just dumps it over. Vila sitting right there. Set to Sammy Zell, assisted by Johnson, and that's a kill for Zell. Zell now with 8 on the evening. Johnson back to serve again. Williams receive. Set to Stolp. And instead of a kill, we're going to get Brasino in the net. So no kill awarded. No kill awarded. And a little confusion on the Trojan side. I don't know if that threw off the server, Vetter, for Waldorf. But the Trojans get into the right position, don't get a legal formation there, and get the point because it's serve into the net. Brasino to serve. Cordell helps out Tram on that play. Vila to Johnson, Johnson to Zell. Zell with the wraparound dig by Tram, set up by Vetter now to Williams. Williams with the soft finesse shot there. Williams again, this time she rolls it over. Johnson to Brasino, Brasino hit over. Fielded by Tram, so Vetter has to set again. Back to Plotzik, Brasino with the dig. But Johnson's foot gets under the line and goes on the other side of Waldorf's side. And that is an illegal action and a violation, and so Waldorf will get the point there in the serve as Sederquist comes in to serve for the Warriors. Sederquist serves into the net, so that's twice now that the Warriors have served into the net. They can't get anything rolling, and Trojans double their score in this current game. The last time we doubled their score, we ended the game 25-12. Let's see if we can make that happen again in this game. Larson just comes in to serve for the Trojans. Sederquist to Tram, Tram to Cordell. Cordell hits it into a group of blockers, but gets through their hands and drops right behind them. No one else behind them to cover. Williams checks out for the Warriors. Mance comes in. Vila comes in for the Trojans, along with Spryer. Johnson sets it out to Spryer, and Spryer hits it down into the blockers, and they hit it back under the net, though. Point for the Trojans, 23-12. Seringer and Schwinn, back into the game for the Trojans. Seringer back to serve. Seringer serves. Tram with a dump, but Seringer is there to return it. And then Brasino sets it to Polzin, and Polzin with the kill. Polzin is up to 15 kills this evening. Brasino with 16, and Spryer with 10. Again, Spryer had 5 up until this last game. Great serve by Seringer. Plastic with the hit over. Seringer to Spryer. Fielded by Vetter. Tram up to Plotzik with a roll shot. Seringer's there to receive it. Vila with the set. Assist. Polzin with the kill. puts the Trojans at 25. And the Trojans win Game 4 and win the match this evening. Polzin and Brusino both with 16 kills on the evening, like I mentioned. And that is the game this evening. We'll be back in a few moments for a few more stats.